I'm pleased to be joined by Fabiano Caruana, just qualified to round 5 after defeating Ray Robson. Fabiano, Ray Robson, a very strong American player, one of your teammates. How did the match go? And tell us about the added difficulty playing with someone you know well.
Yeah, we've played many times, and I think we've known each other because he's a few years younger than me. We've known each other since we were very young. I think the first tournament I remember seeing him in was in 2009 in the World Cup. Actually, I remember he was playing there as well, and yeah, he's really strong. He has a really solid approach, very solid repertoire as well. So I really didn't know if I was going to be able to break through. But yesterday I was happy with a pretty stable draw, and I was hoping to put pressure, but I was also aware that most likely it would go to tiebreaks because, it's not every day that you win against such a strong player. But he was really burning a lot of time in the opening, and it felt like he mixed up his lines maybe. I'm not sure because he seemed a little bit unhappy with his h6 move, and I was also kind of surprised that he played h6. And then we got a very interesting position. He went for this extremely risky, but also I have to say very interesting idea of c5, taking on d4, queen b6, grabbing my b2 pawn. When he played c5, it took me a while to even understand that this was his idea, because I thought maybe his idea was after d4 to play b5 or to play some quiet move. And I saw that he could actually grab a pawn. And when I went for d4, I was betting on something else, not what I played. Then suddenly he played queen b6, and I realized that if I take the b7 pawn, then he has this rook fb8, and it's very, very messy, and he does have a passed a pawn, so I was aware that there's also some risk that I could lose the game. So I played a move which I thought was very safe, bishop to b3, and I thought that I can't be worse. At least I can probably be better, but I can't be worse in this position because I'm probably going to get back the pawn. And then when he played queen c3, suddenly I realized that I have this very interesting piece sacrifice.
You hadn't seen it before? You must have noticed it before.
Only after he played queen c3 that because I saw he had this taken queen c3 idea, but I thought in the worst case I can play bishop d2, grab on a5. Okay, maybe I'm slightly better, but more likely because my bishop is rather misplaced there, it's close to equal. And then suddenly I saw knight f5 is very interesting. And I thought queen c7, like how do I continue here? At first I was going to give up, but then I saw bishop h6, and it looked extremely dangerous. So I spent some time on that, and then I played bishop h6 pretty much instantly because I had already calculated quite a lot when I played knight f5. I'm not sure if how bad it is. It looked really dangerous. Of course, he blundered at the end with bishop b6. He needs to play f6, for example, and the problem for him is that his bishop is also pinned, so rook a1, and he was low on time. So I guess that I'm much better, but I wasn't 100% sure because my king is also rather weak, and it was a relief, of course, that he played bishop b6 and blundered d5, and then I think it's game over.
So now you have an extra rest day, which is probably much appreciated, and you're going to play against Maxulu or against Duda, the current world champion winner. How do you assess each of those two opponents? Would you prefer one or the other?
I can't say I would prefer one or the other because they're both really tough. And I guess whoever wins is the more deserving. I mean, they're very close in rating. They're very different in terms of style, but they're both quite sharp players. And I've played them. I played Duda more because he also he's been top player for many years now, and we played in the candidates last year. So I have more experience against him. Parham, I have only a tiny bit of experience. We played in Vaikanze earlier this year. And it was a draw, but it was actually kind of funny because so he was kind of better at some point, much better in the game, and then he messed it up and I had equalized. And then Parham, I don't know what went through his mind, but he really wanted to beat me. Like, I've never seen someone want to beat me so much, and from a position which is dead drawn and has been for like a very long time, he just starts taking crazy risks to beat me. And I don't know, it wasn't like the tournament situation that compelled him. He just really wanted to. So that kind of like naked ambition I haven't seen too often. I guess it's indicative of his style a bit. He almost ended up losing because of that, but it was a draw. So that's just like my one experience with Parham.
Sounds quite different to Duda's style, actually.
Well, I think that Duda is a very sharp player, but he's maybe a little bit more classical in terms of his approach. I mean, certainly they both have very interesting styles.
So Fabiano, while you're here, apart from playing, you're also recording some podcasts with Christian, which a lot of your followers are listening to. You have a special segment, and Christian also presses you to talk about it, the gym stories. You've had 2 or 3 gym stories. Tell us about the gym stories here, how they're going, these gym stories.
I don't know if they're really good stories. I mean, I go to the gym, I see someone there, and people seem to like to hear about it. But there haven't been too many people going to the gym anymore, which maybe is because there's just less players. A lot of people have left already, or maybe people are getting tired. I also find it difficult to get the motivation to wake up early in the morning to go to the gym. But yeah, I've noticed that there's been a lack of people, of chess players at least. Not other people seem to be going.
You have quite a few spectators here waiting to sign some autographs. You can turn the camera around. How do you feel when you get this sort of attention in the tournaments? Did you appreciate it? Is it nice for you?
Yeah, it's nice to see how many chess fans there are. And I've noticed it more in recent years that people are getting really interested in chess. So more and more tournaments I see, there's a lot of chess fans, but it's always a nice feeling.
Fabiano Caruana, one of the best players in the world, and also always very attentive to the fans.